Next, new tonight, a special community celebration was held for Israel's 75th anniversary at 7 at the Temple Beth El in Springfield. The event featuring a night of comedy and celebration in honor of Israel's historic 75th birthday, featuring 2 local comedians and authors. Springfield Mayor Dominic Sarno was also in attendance for that celebration, and Western Mass News got a chance to swing by and check it out. We spoke with Sonia Wilk, who's the executive director at Temple Beth El.
We're really excited to be gathered as a community and not just as individual institutions. All of the local Jewish communities have worked together with a team of lay people who volunteered to really bring about an evening where we could celebrate having an independent state in Israel.
She went on to say that it feels great to be able to have a large number of people in one building, all celebrating the same thing.